Welcome, everyone. We are back. Another episode of the Flow Show, number 193. The man, the myth, the GOAT, they will say. We'll talk about that. That's a real, people throw that term GOAT around, but he actually has goats. He's got a farm. We're going to talk with the man, Bert Stevens, girafganger7. But first, a message from ClubGG, the title sponsor, where you can create clubs for free, play with your friends, and win hundreds of thousands of dollars in prizes monthly. But my man, Bert, how are you, first of all? How's it going? How does it feel after winning 2.7 million in an online poker tournament? How's it going over there?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, it was. I've only been streaming since April or May, so 7 months, 8 months. So it's been a roller coaster from the start, basically. And yeah, it's been an amazing feeling. Yeah, just the winning moment kind of went viral a little bit, but it was real, you know. So yeah, it's crazy. And now the aftermath, I still have this desire to keep playing, so it's all good, you know. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I got to ask you. So you start the tournament. There's 6,000 entries. You've had a lot of success. Actually, we've battled back in the day when playing a lot online, and I was streaming for several years. And you've had some big scores. What was it like to actually hit $1 million score and 2.7 million? Like what is the feeling when it's happening? When you start thinking about this, like that it's real? Because you're chip leader, 103 big blinds, going to the final table. You see the prize pool. How was, talk me through that experience of playing for this type of money?
Yeah, it was crazy. So it was basically at the end of the series also.
Yeah.
So I had not a bad series, but not a great series. So I was hoping for it. And then yeah, there were multiple day ones. So I played 4 bullets. And then day 2, when it gets close to the end and everybody starts tanking because it's close to the bubble, you kind of start feeling, okay, this is a real thing. I mean, I've been there before, but this one was very special because, well, first of all, it was streamed, which makes it like crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just start feeling, okay, let's focus 110% and let's take this down and get lucky, and yeah. And then on the final table, I was like I said many times, I don't think I ran like super crazy good, but I had all the good spots, which I think
Right.
when it comes to ICM, it's almost more important than having the good hands, except winning a massive flip or something like that. But just every spot was perfect for me, and everything went as basically as good as it could, and it was crazy. Like I was super focused, and then heads up, 3 hands, it's over, and it's just like, what? Like it's a feeling that you almost never have. It's not just about the money. It's just like it changes a lot. Just it changes everything because for
Yeah.
me it changes everything. Like for other people, when they win the big 11, when you're playing like $2 tournaments or something, it's kind of the same thing. Like it just propels you to it's like a new thing. It's like a new feeling, and it
Yeah,
was
I mean,
crazy.
you're in a new zip code. You start looking around, you see the Triton 25s, 50s, 100s. You start thinking like, yeah, this is actually like that's
Yeah,
what's the schedule? Where am I going? What am
yeah,
I selling? What's happening? So yeah, no, you definitely you skipped a few zip codes, and very very exciting, man. Again, I know those that don't know, you got to check out. We'll look through some of your Instagram, your Twitter. We'll talk about it. You are from Belgium originally. I know you have you're known for the animals. Let's just dive right into that because it's fascinating. You have goats, you have all kinds of farm animals on your tell me what that's about and how many total animals do you
I
actually
think
have?
we're at total number. I don't know exactly. Actually, I would have to count, but
Yeah,
around
ballpark.
40, 42, 43. So we have 14 cats, 2 dogs, 2 geese, 2 sheep, uh, 3 goats, and we have 6 horses now.
Wow.
So yeah, 2 chinchillas. Like a pigeon. We also have a pigeon now.
Okay.
Yeah, my girlfriend rescued a pigeon, so it's inside now, just chilling, hanging out. So
Very
yeah,
nice.
it's wonderful. I love all the animals. I think like you know, I rolled into it because of my girlfriend. Like, she was crazy about animals. I never really, you know, I had chickens when I was a kid and stuff like that, but nothing really like getting so close to that many animals and
Yeah.
getting to know them all, and it just opens your perspective, I would say. And yeah, I'm like, for me, this is my life. I love it. You know, it's I don't want anything else anymore. It's this is it. You know.
I and I love your background there, man. It really does feel like a true dungeon, like an actual thing. That's not a green screen. That's an authentic thing. Like when you said I'm going to stream on Twitch and you made a decision, was it always there? Did you know this was it? I mean, it's just too good. It's the got to be the best background in all of Twitch. Where are you? Can you explain? Are you in an actual like farm, like in
Yeah,
a background?
it's like an old house that used to be a farm.
Okay.
And this is the outside wall of the house, so I'm basically in like a little extra thing, but it's not isolated
Okay.
or nothing. You know, like I'm at like a little attic kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I got like the washing machine, dryer, you know, the gasoline tank, all that stuff is right beside me. So it's basically I'm outside. It's not freezing, like, because it's very cold now. But if it freezes at night, here it's like 5 degrees more, like Celsius. So
Wow.
it's it's but for me, I love that stuff. You know, like I'm still sitting on my old chair.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
my
yeah,
next question. Genuinely know from what people that I know that know you well, and we, you know, we've chatted, and I genuinely know like money. It really is one of those things. Like I know it's not. You're not a guy. Like I know you didn't go out and buy a Lambo or do something crazy because like that's not who you are. But was there anything? Did you upgrade? Do any kind of spending at all with this, or is it literally like nothing's changed for you at all
I mean,
in the respective?
I bought a space heater because it's cold here, and I bought like socks and shoes and a jacket.
Nice. All right, so you got
uh,
a couple of things.
yeah, a couple
Jamie
things.
Staples buys art. Like I was, when he hits a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
score,
yeah.
did you buy? I was wondering if you bought like an animal, a new animal or something at
Yes,
least.
yes, we actually did. Well, my girlfriend already, you know, she's online a lot, like looking for animals that, you know, need a good home. This
Yeah,
one we didn't adopt or anything. It's just a horse. That you know, was basically used for breeding. So
yeah,
she's like 15 years old now, and you know, we just wanted to give her a nice retirement, and she's pregnant as well. So we have a little baby horse coming,
wow,
and yeah, that's basically it. And you know, we're gonna renovate the house. We're gonna improve like the stables, all that stuff. So you know, most of the money always goes to the animals. That's all. It's always been like that. Just now
yeah.
we can do everything like very nice, you know. And
The animals are gonna be living a little better
yeah,
equipment, but
exactly,
a little
exactly.
more food, a little more everything. Good. That's interesting. Well, I love it, man. Again, so cool. The winning moment. We'll we you guys gotta check it out. Though we'll look at some of your Twitch and we'll showcase some of the stuff. How did you decide to actually stream? Because I think that when we battled on that big tournament, which I do want to talk about that hand because it was pretty interesting. I have different opinions where we got to play in a big spot. It was $1 million, 1K buy-in, huge Twitch spot. When did you have the actual moment where you said, you know what? I'm a winning poker player. I'm winning money. I love playing. When did you say, hey, I want to actually Twitch too? Because you do sacrifice, not just like people can kind of see, but the focus, right? Like the focus, because you're playing a lot of tables, and to actually follow the stream and then also play your best, it's not easy. I want to hear about that moment for you when you said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and was it hard? Because it's not easy. People think you can just turn on a camera and start streaming. There's a lot of random little bells and whistles that go into it, and it's not also when you're not having a good day, it's fun to win 2.7 million, but when you're losing every hand and
Yeah.
the session's not going well, it's kind of hard to just sit there and like like take it on the face, just get knocked
Yeah.
down and just chat with people. So tell me about your Twitch experience. When was the moment you said I'm coming?
So when was it? So the end of 2022, I won, or the start of 2022. I don't know, like a year and a half ago, I won like 1.1
Okay.
million. Also in GG 10K. Um, and I was basically out of makeup at that point. I made a little bit of money, but you know, I had a backer and I was out of makeup. I grinded really hard for like 2 years. You know, I made some money, but not like crazy amount. I was playing like the super high stakes, and you know, it does get to you like. 800K downswing, it's like, mentally it's draining. I got out and then I said like, okay, I need a year off. I was also drinking. So I started to get like a problem again with the alcohol because I used to be a little bit alcoholic. Then I, quit and I started slowly rolling back into it. So I took a break, but I kept drinking and yeah, it wasn't good. So now I'm completely sober. I quit drinking. Um, and basically, I wanted to get back into poker. So I took a year off. I was like, okay, I want to play again. I do a little bit of coaching, not too much, like for pokercoaching.com. But I wanted to play again. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to give myself like some kind of responsibility because I'm really bad with like, you know, for myself, I don't really care too much about money or all that stuff. I just wanna I just wanted to find, like, an extra motivation for myself, so I just gave it a shot, and I said, like, at the start of the streaming, like, first couple of weeks, "Okay, I'll try this for a month. If I like it, I'll keep doing it. If I don't like it, I'll just quit," you know?
Yeah.
And I
And was it right away? Did you find it, like, exhilarating? Did you say, like, "This actually keeps me more on point, more motivated?" Did you notice a change where your game was shifted a little, or how did you like at first, the first, like, week or 2?
yeah, it was, like, the chatting came very natural, so, like, I'm not, like, the casual streamer, I would say, like, I really, you know overdo it a little bit, like, I go absolutely fucking crazy, and, but it's not that far removed from my normal thing, I just vocalize it more, right? And it does work out, and people love it. I had crazy amount of support, like, from the start, basically. A lot of people know my name, right? So, people who come and check it out, and they stay, and then it keeps growing and growing, and I was like, "Okay, I mean, even if I don't, like, make a lot of money in poker, I can make a little bit on the side or whatever." So I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And I do enjoy it. And I think, like, okay, it does hurt your EV, I would say, but it's not for me, it's not that bad, I would say. It's not even though I play high stakes and, all the high stakes guys can look at all my hands, I feel like these days it's more, we're somewhat close to GTO, all of us. I mean, we have different styles still, but it's not that easy to just like, "Oh, this guy C bets the flop too much. Let's exploit him." Like it's
I
the
I mean, see,
yeah,
because for me, I'm saying I think that is less of a problem. I don't think it's like people are watching your hands and they're
yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
he did this versus me, and now I'm gonna punish him." I'm saying more about the focus. Like when you play, what's the most tables you'll play when you're playing like a session? And also, do you adjust that when you're streaming now on Twitch? Has it dropped because of the focus? Like how many tables do you calibrate that it like say Twitch is a table account? Is it 4 tables, 8 tables? Like what is you being on Twitch streaming? How does that how many tables is that worth like in terms of focus, do you think? What that adds?
I actually I reg more, because I wanna get a final table every stream. So I just keep firing everything, late reg everything and stuff. So
Mm.
you
But, like, so
definitely
are you
give
playing
up.
16, 12? How many are you registering when you stream on Twitch?
Yeah, at the start, I have, oftentimes I have 20 tables, right? So I start with 20
20,
tables.
wow.
I call it my shit pile. So I have like 4 slots, and I have 1 slot where like there's like 10 tables overlapping, and they just pop up, and I just click a button, right? So I'm obviously not playing the best on those tables, but it's fine. Like I don't really care because I know once I go deep in a tournament, I can pay attention and I can make up for it, and
Yeah,
it's mostly like lower stakes. But yeah, I think like what I noticed is that um it takes a lot of energy. I think that's one of the main things is that in the moment I feel like my focus is somewhat high. I chat a lot to the chat. I do a lot of crazy stuff. I sing along to the songs. I do all that stuff. And I still focus on poker. And I think it works, but I am absolutely exhausted after. Like, I am dead. So, at the moment, I can only do 3 streams a week just because if I do 5, I'm just dead. Like, I need to take a week off because it's so draining.
yeah,
The high level of focus, mental strength that you need to do this. Like,
yeah.
I can do it, but it just takes so much energy. And, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I was always a big fan of, in general, just streamers, like poker streamers. I think like, uh, I mean, I've been in the Twitch streets. Like I watched Lex, I watched all of the Staple Brothers. I watched everybody. I was even there, yeah, for your streams.
It's a long time
For
ago now. I mean, I was
yeah,
there
yeah,
for
yeah,
like 6 years ago, and I remember, it is like it it is a lot. I just think it's like one of those things. I find it fascinating now, the great players. Like, I'll put you in the great player category or Ape Styles, and there's a ton of guys, even like Lex, Kevin Martin, James, all these guys are working on their games. So it's funny to see like content creators or Kevin Martin got like barbecued, right? You remember when Stars signed him? This was
yeah,
sort of like the shift where like it was like, okay, Jason, the elite high roller players were getting all these deals, right, for winning
yeah,
tournaments. And then it shifted to kind of content guys. And they're like, how can Kevin Martin be sponsored? He's a $20 player, whatever. And it was sort of the first like of like the shift. But now like seeing great players that are playing the 10K GG million weekly, that are playing the highest stakes, that are like great, are now like starting to stream. So it's kind of like an interesting, mix, right? To have someone that's like a streamer and a great player, that's a dangerous combination. Because like, look, even myself, I would consider myself like a competent poker player, but I'm very realistic, right? When I'm playing I know I'm not like in the 0.01%, right? Or the
yeah,
top percent. And so it's like, it's kind of funny. Like you said, you have to decide too, because there is like you give up something, but you're also getting something. You're kind of building a brand or having fun or finding a different path. So now, though, I think it is like the gaps are narrowing both ways. Some of the guys that are more streamers are getting better, and some of the great players are also starting to stream more. So it's
yeah.
there's a lot of that kind of mix. It's getting more competitive and better. So is that to you though? Like, would you recommend? Are you if you had friends that are thinking about streaming, would you say, hey, I think it's great, you should do it, or do you think it just takes a specific personality to do it?
Well, I think you should try it. If you want to do it, just try it and see
Yeah.
how it works. It's not, you just need a computer that's somewhat reasonable internet.
Hmm.
I have a shitty camera. I have a fucking podcast mic or whatever. I have a stupid light. Like you don't need that much when it comes to setup, in my opinion. Like, okay, it's always nice if you have like, you know, good stuff, but you don't need it. It's more about, can you relate to the people who watch you to a certain extent, that they enjoy watching you, even if you win, lose, or if you're a good player or average player, or you're trying to move up in the stakes. Like I think like the because like you said, like I agree, like a lot of the old school streamers who are like more like content creators before are now like, because they're getting coached by like really good players, they're very good,
Yeah.
I mean, you even have Ben CB streaming like on Sundays, and I mean, like he's very, very good, and he gives away a lot of strategy advice for
Yeah.
free, basically. Like I'm not really the strategy guy. I mean, you can see all my hands, but I'm not like going super deep into strategy all the time, but he does talk about it a lot. And see like Spraggy or Lex, like they getting coached by BBZ, and when I watch their streams, I'm like, oh, these guys, they play very well now. Like like, they were never really bad, but there was always like a reasonable gap, I would say, between like the good regs and them, just because it's a different thing, right? Like you're streaming first, but now I feel like they're very good. Even Lex, like he's an old man, but like he's still improving, like
Yeah.
because he wants to. Like it's when you play poker,
Yeah.
like even when you play for fun, you want to win. Like why would you play if you don't want to win? So like even if you understand, okay, I'm worse than if you have like a tough table in the 5K or in the 10K, like you're not going to win money in the long run, but you can still win. You can still reduce the edge that they have and increase your chance of winning. So why not? And it's fun too. Like the game is still fun, even though it's
Yeah.
more solved. But like it's so much fun to play. It's a great game,
And
especially
there is
tournaments
so
for
many
me.
variations now. The
Yeah, yeah,
mystery bounties, the turbo this and the bit Annie and the 4 card. There's all these different 5 card games. There's so much like there's poker's always gonna be around, right? If it does, no limit gets solved or gets more boring or whatever, at some point, it'll just like there's new games. And speaking of games, I don't want to forget. I got to ask you, Game of Gold. Have you watched it? Are you following along?
yeah. So I watched the first 4 episodes and then I pieced out, but I did enjoy it a lot.
It's
I
so
don't
funny,
think
that's
it's
me too.
yeah,
4 I've watched 4 and I
yeah,
haven't not 'cause I don't want to, I just haven't got to it, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
did
Me
see
too,
that
me too.
first
Yeah.
part, and, what are your thoughts on it so far on that part?
I think like I think it's not necessarily aimed at me. You know, I don't think it's aimed at like the guys who've been in poker for 10 years, right? Like
Right.
it's more aimed at people who are new to the game or people who have like an interest in the
Mhm.
game because it's not just like about the poker, right? It's about the characters, it's about the dynamics, and I think it's amazing. I think like it worked out really well. Like the you know like for what they try to achieve, I think it worked out perfectly. Like I think like the mix of people they have is perfect. And it works out really well. I think they did an amazing job, and I'm very happy something like that exists now. I think I mean I don't see how they don't just keep going, right? Season 2, season 3, like you have to add something new or something, but I think it's amazing. I think it's great. Like uh, yeah, it's not just a random cash stream with like a bunch of crazy people. Like there's like this additional thing, or it's not just a EPT
Yeah.
deep run or something like that. It is something different. It's something special. I think it's really well done. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
And so let's say I call you up and I say, "Hey, Bert, season 2, Game of Gold, let's go. We're going, it's on. Are you going? Because you say you want to go play the WSOP main in Vegas. You want to do certain things, but you to get away. Would you go away for that show? Would you compete on that in
Um,
Korea? Would
I
you go
I
over
I don't know if I
there?
would be good for it. Like I'm also a little bit scared with the editing, because I'm like a very easy guy to take out of context, because I say crazy shit all the time, and it's not always obvious, that I'm joking. But I don't know. I would love to do something like that. I don't know exactly that one. Um, I think like Pads would be very good for it. Like he was the guy who asked like, who do you want in the lineup, and I thought his names were like kind of too old school. I think
Yeah,
like Pads would be great. I think because you see like Lucas, Robin, like perfect. Like he's great. He's like lesser experienced guy, and it works out. The
yeah.
dynamic is good. The girls were all great. You got Jungle, doing jungle stuff.
Jungle
Like,
sleeping, jungle
yeah, yeah,
sleeping on the
yeah.
job,
Just
like the
keep it
whole
like
thing. Yeah, it's
it's good.
epic. Yeah,
Like yo viral. Like it's great. It's great. Like you just have to find like a good mix of
yeah.
people. I think like I don't know if I would be good for that show exactly. I mean I wouldn't say no. I think
Right.
if they want me, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it is good for poker. I definitely find that people, like you said, it's a little geared more toward maybe like a girlfriend or someone that like doesn't really understand, someone that's like kind of in like, oh, it's interesting. They would find it like a drama kind of as well. They don't have to
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
so much about it. I thought my only feedback, and again, I've only seen 4 episodes as well. Like I like the poker dynamic, but I think there should be more like Squid Game. I think it should be a little more like outside of poker things. You know what I mean? That would be kind of fun to
Yeah,
see a
yeah,
little
maybe.
more
I mean, they could
challenges.
do that. They could do that in the future, I guess. Like, I think they did a good job so far. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a new
Oh, good.
concept. I mean, it's not great. Like, it's not like they invented like a whole new thing, but I think they took a lot of things and they made it work. So I think they can definitely switch it up, have some kind of like more survivor kind of thing going on or something like that.
Yeah.
It would definitely.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely room for improvement there.
For sure.
But yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, I didn't want to
Oh, by
forget
the
because
way,
that is
can
current.
I can I smoke? Can I smoke?
Yeah. I don't
Okay.
see why not. That's actually one of my questions, and one of the questions I think I saw, which we will get to here. I want to put we're gonna cover a lot, but this is
Yeah,
we'll spend at the end here. We'll go through. There's already a lot of questions, man. People, I just put out this yesterday. Got a lot of
yeah.
people. Someone was asking about that actually. How much would you to quit smoking for a year? Is there, Bill Perkins? Let's get him on. Someone gives him a prop bet. How much for you to not smoke for 1 year? Is that on the
It's
table?
a it's a it's a low number, man. It's a low number because I already tried it, and if I failed, and I'm gonna try again. So I'm gonna try. Like I talked to my shrink, and he said like it's best not to do it in the winter because it's a little bit too depressing.
Mm.
So because I smoke so much, like even with like patches and maybe vaping or something like that, it's
How much
gonna.
though? Or like you would actually be like, all right, that's enough to like just kind of for a little extra motivation. I don't even if it's $100 or is it 1K, 10K? What is the number where you're like,
No,
that'll
if
help
if
me and I'll
if I would have to quit today, like if Bill Perkins like sent me an email, you have to quit today. I would probably have to get like a lot of money though, like
okay.
100K or something. Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
need to be prepared. Like if I'm prepared, I can do it.
Yeah, how much? Like
Yeah.
me and you make a friendly bet. What would like in down the road? You don't have to start today, but you get some time to break free on it.
Like let's say I have to quit in the next year, something like that. I don't know, like 2.5K, not a lot, just a little bit of money. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I could do that with you. That would be fun. I feel like that would
No,
be
no,
worth it
don't
for
wait,
you.
wait till Bill sees the podcast. Maybe he.
Get a bigger number. Yeah. It is important though. I hope whatever it is I do, yeah, get that. But you are actually a chain smoker. Like, what are you talking a day? Like packs and what are you smoking? You're really
When I'm
ripping it.
streaming, I smoke like 50, 60 cigarettes.
Wow. How many
Yeah,
are in a pack?
20, so like 3 packs. But when I'm not like playing and streaming, I only smoke like one, like a normal person, I guess. But
Okay.
1 pack, yeah. So like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah,
That is
it's not. It's
that is a lot. Well, all right. Well, we'll revisit that. What is I got to ask now about the farm here. I want to scroll through some of your stuff. So with the your so you are now really into animals, but your girlfriend was the original. She was really into it, and that's what, like you said, you didn't really. It wasn't like a passion, but it's actually a passion now. This is like your main hobby. Like, take me through a day in the life of Giraffe Ganger.
Well, she still does most of the work, so because I'm not a morning person, as most poker players aren't, I guess. So like she does the early shift, and it takes like 2-3 hours. So like feeding all the animals, cleaning up, all that stuff. So it's a lot of work for her. And I do like the evening shift, but that's a lot less. And then when I'm not playing, I, do like an hour or 2 hours, just in the garden, like cleaning up or hanging out. I mean, hang out like with the dogs most, like I just play with the dogs a lot. Uh, and then the horses, they like we don't really do anything. Yeah, that's my beautiful girlfriend. Like, yeah, she does all the hard work basically, and I just take credit for it. But it's yeah, it's a lot of work. And yeah, it's yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain when you're not into it. Like a lot of people don't really understand it, like in the sense that they're not used to it. Like
Yeah.
it's very far removed from how most people, especially in poker, like there's very few people who have more than like a couple dogs or a couple cats, and that's it, right? And yeah, for us, it's been like that for I don't know 10 years or something, where we just keep
So let
keep
me ask you,
adding. Yeah.
you have other help or other like now, right? Things will change potentially a little more just to make it that much easier. But if you were to go take a trip, the two of you go away for a week or two, is that you can't really do it, right? I mean,
So
it's not
we
hard.
haven't traveled in a long time. And like when we go back to Belgium, we have to go separately because somebody has to take care of the animals. So yeah, she goes back to Belgium like for 4 or 5 days a week or something. I have to take care of the animals for a week. Then when I go to Belgium, she has to do everything. So yeah, like that's one of the main reasons I don't really play live. I don't want to go away for like 2 weeks to play a whole series anyway. Like it's not really my thing. But I would love to play like uh, a EPT main again or something like that.
Yeah, we did. We were talking about your Hendon Mob. You got a walk-off final table, your first ever 2015. It looks like you did get
Yeah.
sixth place. It was in Belgium, and it was a high roller, and you did cash. So, well, I said I joke with you. It's true. Like on here, pretty much every guest that plays poker, at least their first event is a final table. It's like weird, but from the cashing standpoint, what was? Was it not there? What happened here where you like played one and then you really didn't go and play any other tournaments? It looks like
No, no, I
live.
played a couple in Belgium at the start. They have
Right.
like one Ks and 2Ks sometimes, like 2 times a year. And they had like satellites on Poker Stars back then, so I think they still do sometimes. But yeah, yeah. So I played the 1K main and then the 2K high roller, and I cashed the. Well, it was like a small field, so it's not crazy to final table it. I was
Yeah.
very very drunk though, so I can't remember anything.
And for you, when you stream, how do you literally do you click live and you start registering, or are you already playing? and have some stuff
Uh,
going? What's your like routine on Twitch? When you usually start? What time? European time?
so I change it up sometimes, but I found like the best way for me is to like play like an hour and a half before I start streaming. Um, because if I just click go live and start ragging, I just punt it off way too much. I don't know why that is. Uh, but I just punt. Like it's crazy. I just you know just I need to warm up a little bit. I need to vibe out, get into the zone, and then the music. When I start the stream, I put the music on, and the vibes are there instantly. So the vibes are okay. It's just the poker. I have to be a little bit careful about like not punting off too much. But
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I play a little bit before. I try to at least.
And what is the name? This is, I think, one of the questions people are asking. And what is giraffe ganger? What does that come from? Seven.
Um, so it's Dutch, basically. Like ganger is like hanger, which means somebody who goes to, and giraffe is the name of a bar where I used to go to all the time. So it's basically like somebody who goes to the bar. That's what it means. Yeah.
Okay, and seven, just a number you like, or
Yeah, yeah, just a number I like. Yeah.
okay, there you go. People that's a I
Yeah,
always think that
that's it.
the
Yeah,
monikers are always interesting. There's always
yeah, yeah.
something that's story or meaningful or at the time, but again, it's from usually a long time ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, things can change. And you are started by is it one of those things where you put a free roll, you put on a little bit of money? What year did you actually start playing, and who got you into poker? How did you get into poker?
Uh, I started playing when I was like 16, I think. And or like 17. Just by watching Poker Night, After Dark, all that stuff. I love that shit. Like, the classic Ivy,
Yep.
Dwan, all that stuff. It was just amazing, right? So that was on TV in Belgium, like after midnight. So I was just watching every episode, and I loved it. And I started playing like you had like regional free rolls on Full Tilt Poker.
Hmm.
So I just lied about my age and in an account and played free rolls.
How old are you?
Uh, I think I was 17, so just like one year before it was legal, and then
How old
uh,
are you now?
now I'm 32. I'm from
32. So
'91, so yeah, it's
15 years
33.
ago, you started playing, and like, okay, so yeah, you were a little after the original boom, like oh
Yeah,
three, oh
yeah.
four years.
I was railing Victor Blom versus Dwan and all that
Mhm.
shit on Full Tilt when I had no money, right? So like I'm a little bit after when the games were like the best, I would say, online. So like there was no more
Yep,
Paradise Poker already. It was just like Full Tilt Stars, um,
right,
UB. I think no, that went down later. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I was right after the boom, but it was still good. But I had no clue what I was doing, and then I started. I kind of like stopped playing. I quit school when I was 18, and I started working at a bar, the Giraffe, where my name comes from. And then I became an alcoholic at like 20, 21. I had to quit working at the bar, and then I started playing poker again because I needed to make some money. I gave that a try. It kind of worked out, but not like crazy results. And
yeah,
then I joined Pokar, uh, which is a stable. So I joined a stable. I started at I think $11 tournaments and like $3 rebuys and stuff like that on stake. And yeah, that's how it
wow,
started. So like I think I grinded like reasonably low stakes for like a year and a half, and then I kind of started running like good at the right spots. I think that's also very important.
for
Just
sure.
like, because I think I was winning, but like a good winning poker player, even before I was like winning a lot of money. I was just like, I wasn't really on a downswing, but like you said, like the spots, there's like a point where I just started getting lucky basically. And that's why I'm here.
It
Got
is
lucky.
crazy. Like I know some of my biggest spots, and it is like the difference between an eighth or a 12th or a third or first, and these some of these things are so huge, and you can get it in 4 to 1 or like a flip, right? A big flip a couple times in a year can be the difference between you getting out in the tournament and cashing for 20, 30 grand or cashing for 2.7 million. How do you feel you deal with result oriented? How do you feel you deal with highs and lows? Do you find yourself pretty stable, like if you're doing well or not? Because you talk about a big down swing. Losing 800K straight because there's a backer involved, right? Whether he's your
Yeah.
friend or there's a lot of emotion. It's not, it can be difficult.
Yeah. Well,
How do you feel you do with that? With the low, like on the up and downs? Do you feel you're pretty stable?
it's fine. Like I do get tilted. Like even before I won my 2.7 million score, I had like kind of a bad couple of months where I just couldn't win a fucking hand. You know how it is, and it's just it kind of starts getting to you a little bit, and you're like, okay, am I actually like winning? That's always like
Yeah.
when you start asking that question, like okay, I might as well like make sure I'm a winning player, right? So you put in some extra work, and you're like, okay, I'm fine, and you just keep going. You have to try and keep going, like reset every day. I think that's important because in the moment, like it's fine to you have to feel the emotion, because otherwise, what's the point? You have to try and not like lose your mind when you lose, but
Yeah.
like you said, like when you lose a big flip to go out in 12th when first place is like crazy, it's gonna hurt. Like there's no way around it. Like you're not like tomorrow's a different day. Like it doesn't work like that, right? Like you gotta
Yeah.
take it, and I would say like embrace the pain, but reset like the day after. Like just try and just keep going. Like focus on playing good, and we're getting better.
For sure. No, it's yeah, it's that's a big part of the game, definitely, and also why do drop out. Obviously, more responsibilities. You get kids, wife, things, but it's in poker. It's like it is a big mental part of the game. What is your study? Sort of, you don't have to give me all the secrets, but what is your calibration of studying and playing? And Poker, you mentioned, are you doing work? Are you reviewing hands? Do you like watch the GG Million? For like like where does this come into play? How much work are you doing off the table, and has that shifted in the last few years? Now that you've got some massive scores, like do you find almost more lazy, or are you more motivated? How is that kind of how do you break down your pie chart of playing versus studying?
Well, first of all, I don't think there are any secrets. Like it's just gotta put the hours in, I guess. But I actually don't study that much. I'm more of a old school lazy guy. Like
Right.
born a genius, and just trying to make some money while doing the minimum effort as possible. Like and just doing least possible. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do a lot of thinking, I guess, thinking about hands. I do coaching for pokercoaching.com. So like I work with Michael Acevedo, who is like a GTO, like he has a book on GTO. So I do some work with solvers with uh yeah, but mostly like just solver GTO wizard or DTO I use now.
Yeah.
DTO. Yeah,
Where
and
do you feel the state of the game is? Where do you feel it is right now? For I guess you can't really speak about live other than you see
yeah.
sort of the numbers, right? Record WSOP 10,000 buy-in, 10,000 entries. So the game seems in a good place at the live stops. Online, you're obviously very in tune to what's going on with GG Poker, Poker Stars, Party Poker, all the sites and what's happening and where it's at. Like, how do you feel the game is, the quality of the online game at the moment?
Um, I would say it's okayish at the moment. I think like the main like issue I see is that there's only GG at the moment. Like, okay, you have ACR, which has like a good schedule, but the software is not great. They still have some kind of the name, like their name is not like same as GG. Like GG is like pretty reputable now. Uh,
Yep.
and then Stars like slowly dying. Party Poker is dead. 888. I don't know. I don't really play there, so I can't say too much. But I mean, it's not like the main site for anybody. I think it's a good site for a couple tournaments here and there, or cash or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's always dangerous when there's like one big leader, right? That we saw it before. Like Stars, like they were massive. They cut out the supernova elite halfway. Like I mean that should never be a thing. And I mean they didn't get away with it. Like it's always like they think they can get away with it, and they might feel like they did until a certain point where
Right.
Like people are just okay. Now there's a different site we can play on, and then they just go to the other site, and that's GG at the moment. So I think like
Yeah.
for GG, like I mean, I don't want to shit too much on GG, but they have to be very careful with the rake increases, especially at cash. Of course, PLO it's like pretty bad. Cash is in general pretty bad, but I mean at least they offer like good games. Uh, and then MTTs now they're adding. I don't know if it's like contractually obliged or something for like the WSOP tournaments. Like they have like a extra administration fee, all that stuff. So you know these are little things that you know I don't think would happen if they were like heavily competing with another
Mhm.
site. Is what I'm trying to say. Is like there's no competition for GG, especially when it comes to tournaments. Like I mean, there's just nothing else, right? Like during the series, okay, Stars is okay. ACR is always okay, I guess. But yeah, I think like it's always hard to say. I do think like GG is a lot smarter than PokerStars were, because they are a little bit more aware of the long term. So like GG at least has like a long term vision.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't get too greedy in the short term. And everything goes fine, you know, and we can just keep playing online poker for another 10 years.
Do you see yourself like in terms of poker? And you say you're 32. Is it? I mean, it's hard to predict how long in the future or what's the landscape will be. But is this? Do you see yourself playing poker for for a long, long time, whether it's streaming or online, or I mean, is it a game you just love and you see yourself playing, or could you see yourself just stopping at any point as well?
Well, I said to myself, I'm gonna do like 3 years, like guarantee, like seriously, you know, and then after that, I'll see. I mean, of course, like if I just get bored or I'm tired, I just quit. But I don't see that happening. Like, I just think like I'll reassess in 2, 3 years, like what I want to do. Because like I don't really care too much about the money, but I do care about you know like the glory. You know, I want to win everything. So
I got. Speaking of glory, this I asked Mario Mosback
yeah,
about this last. He was just on the podcast and had some huge success at Triton. He also won a GG Million, a few weeks ago, and he's on a pretty big heater. And we were talking about trophies. Pads had this
yeah.
talk
I
about as well.
watched that. Yeah, yeah.
What do you think about?
I agree completely, man. I agree completely. I think it's one of those things where uh it seems obvious that it's a good idea. Like I don't know how the costs can be that high. Like even like Mario said, like just take it out of the prize pool. I mean, I wouldn't care. You know, okay, not every tournament deserves a trophy, but
Yeah,
you know,
but like that's the thing. If you
yeah,
get the
yeah,
production for it, and even if it's $100, like or whatever, however it is. And I was saying the idea would be you do it once a year or twice a year. Like, who cares, right? If you were like, look, I play all year and then I get 12 trophies sent to me for Christmas, or
yeah,
like the first week of January, it comes to my house with my 12 trophies for the year in one shipment.
yeah,
Like, and they're small. And like, I think that's like a better version of what Full Tilt was doing to knock out the pros. And you got like 80 shirts or
yeah. I got like two
200
or
shirts
three.
of it. Try have 200. I mean, think about like every tournament there was like all these pros in it. It was just
Yeah,
like, and they're spending money to ship every time
yeah,
and do like a t-shirt. So yeah, whatever. I think that would be cool. Like to have you get your trophy case. They don't have to be big, but it's just like a fun extra thing. I think it would actually be a plus EV thing where
yeah.
people would actually like it. That's where they might reg more. So all right, well, I'll have you sign the trophy petition. We'll get
Yeah,
that
yeah,
movement
yeah.
going.
Well,
But
actually,
yeah,
like I think like the trophy thing is maybe just like one part of stuff they can do for the online thing because
yeah,
I think like it's always been when it comes to glory, it's always been live. It's always been live. Like even W Coop, like it's a world championship, but it's not. It's definitely not the same as a bracelet, right? Like of course not. Now you have the bracelets online. I mean, I have a bracelet. I have a bracelet.
Ooh.
It still doesn't mean the same thing. And the reason why it doesn't mean the same thing is because like there's not enough press. There's not enough like yeah, like there's not enough push you know from the side's standpoint, like promoting these guys, like I mean, I'm not saying you should promote me, but like if a random guy wins a bracelet, like you have to pump that guy up, like why not? Like it's a once in a lifetime thing. It's like basically free promo, and I feel like there's so much wasted potential when it comes to the glory online, because the times that it's like completely anonymous is gone, right? Like on GG now we have real names, which I think is good. But like it's not like it was before. It's just like, oh, a screen name, he wins one big tournament and he's gone. Like, you know, when you watch a 10K, right? Like it's, you know, most of the guys, like, okay, maybe not personally, but you've seen this name before, you've seen this name before. You Google him, you see, oh, he won a WPT or something like that. Like it's these guys are like the best in the world, you know. They play the 10K every week, and these guys are the best in the world,
Yeah.
and nobody knows who they are. And it's not their fault, I think. It's just like there's no there's still like a little bit too much negativity about like, yeah, the glory of online poker, man. I think it's you know, I made it myself, you know. I just call myself the greatest online MTT player of all time, and I just, you know, try and
Yeah.
not embarrass myself. And you know, it's I don't want to do it myself. I want somebody else to call me the greatest online MTT player of all time, but it's not going to
Yeah.
happen, you know.
Yeah, I think there should be a department for like the exactly like a market media, like sort of a exactly. There needs to be some sort of program or accolades, because at the end of the day, it is kind of fun. Like, look, I played soccer my whole life. I got my trophy case at my parents' house with my trophies from 5 years old till, you know, going through high school, right? And it's like cool. So in some ways, you know, people like that. Like if you come over and your buddies, you're in college or you're in your 20s and you got like 15 trophies from like whatever, like it's hard to win a tournament. I don't care if it's a $33 or a 10K, like it's not easy to win. And it's like, it should be celebrated, whether, you know, like, I don't know.
No, I
So
agree. I
anyway,
agree.
I think
Yeah.
I think there should be a sort of like social sort of upside of that, like do some kind of thing with that. I think that's a very good idea. There should be some more attention to that, to the accolades, to the promote, to the, you know, people love it in sports. They love awards,
Yeah.
and the football or like this and that and winning this and the newest you know, it is fun. GPI sort of doing this, right? They
Yeah.
have these awards for some stuff, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's an interesting topic. All right, I want to ask you about this hand. This is from me and you from many years ago, and I actually went in depth with Ben CB about the hand,
I
and
know
I
you
just,
lost. I know you lost your mind about this hand, right? Like you completely fucking lost your mind about this one, right? Yeah.
well, I just like looking back on it. Yeah, there was, I could have flatted. The ICM was
No, but
huge.
it's yeah, it's a very specific spot, I would say. Like I can't remember exactly what I was gonna do because I have ace king here.
Yeah.
And
Fucking annoying thing. Sorry,
yeah,
this thing. That was a bad overlay thing. Yeah, I think the real question I had was this on the like pre-flop. Like, all right, yeah, I 3-bet you, 4-bet small, and I called. I think the
yeah,
only the debate was if like here maybe, you know, I'm first, or no, you checked and I think I checked back, and maybe if I should have better just ripped it. And I honestly, you had ace king, so I guess in
yeah, yeah.
theory, yeah. Like let's say I just ripped the flop. What I don't know, like
Yeah, I mean, I would have folded at the moment, like, and I mean for sure, because you know, I know you were a little bit on the
tighter.
tighter side,
Yeah.
so and I was a little bit more crazy. I actually like, I think like theoretically, you played it fine, because I think like jacks is a good call pre now, like with the things we know now. I think
Yeah.
at the time, most people would have just jammed and lost or whatever, you know, like. Jax is like, okay, it's not the best hand, but it's sometimes you just gotta run it, right?
The,
But
the,
it's actually good, like,
the
the
sick
option to
part is
call
that
is actually really good.
how it played out. Like, yeah, for the
Yeah,
fact that I was in position and that you checked, and if I rip it here, right, I would, and let's say you do fold, and I have 6 million. You know, like I'm in pretty good shape, right? I'm in actually like fourth or fifth, kind of, and there's some like very short stacks, but whatever. This was my biggest Twitch spot
yeah,
or,
yeah.
or live spot. It was like 1 million to first, a 1K buy-in. There was 20,000, 21,000 viewers on. And that was this hand, like definitely haunts me. And then the ace did peel, and you ended up winning this, right? You did win it.
I chopped it, yeah, with the holla at my boy or something. Holla
You
at your
you know
boy,
you know
yeah.
that you remember this, what
Yeah,
happened
yeah,
with this though, right? It came like,
he didn't get his money. He didn't get his money, yeah. Which I thought was
I got
kinda,
like
yeah.
I got sent 30 grand like 5 years later, 4 years later. They just like ripped in the pay jump. Did you get a pay jump then too?
No, no, because we chopped heads up, so I think it's only, like, for the guys below that get more money, which, you know.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
like, they said they were gonna give it to charity, but maybe only, like, a part. I don't know, because, like, he didn't cheat, right? Like, it's not
Yeah.
cheating,
It
it's just
wasn't cheating.
it's
It
just,
was
like,
like the location.
yeah,
Yeah, I think he played
VPNing. But, you
I
know,
think what happened is he played the first part from in the US and then when he got deep and he had a huge deck, he like actually did fly and go
yeah,
somewhere to do it. But like whatever. Yeah, that was a crazy that was crazy. That was 2017, long time
yeah,
ago. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
interesting.
I mean,
But
that was, like, the biggest, like, 'cause I had, like, a big score, a couple months before that, so I was without backer. So, like, I got, like, 80% of this
wow.
score, so that was fucking
Wow.
crazy, right? Like,
What'd you
it's
get?
1K, like, the biggest
Eight,
1K
six, seven,
probably
seven, or
ever, you know,
800?
like yeah, I had,
Yeah,
like,
it was a 5 mil.
800K or something, I can't remember, but, yeah, it was crazy, crazy score, man, like
Yeah, that was actually I had Bill Perkins booked Timex at the time too. He had my action on the side for a extra
uh,
whatever. So that was a real sweat. Timex got off, like bought out even maybe for something because it was a million to first off a 1K buy-in. But
yeah,
yeah, that was fun, man. That was
yeah.
definitely the most fun times to play. And do you have a content? Do you have an editor? Do you have anyone who does like your stuff? Like what's your Twitch and your sort of overall stuff comprised of? Do you have a manager? Do you have someone that does
I have,
your social?
yeah, yeah. Well, I do my socials myself, obviously, because I don't want like I'm not like the corporate guy. Like I don't really I don't have anything to sell, right? So I don't need to be politically correct all the time, or I don't need to please everybody.
Yeah, but like this,
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
you're doing this?
Well, it was my idea, but I just said I kind of want like a party poster kind of thing,
Yeah,
and she made it in like 20 minutes. So
that's cool.
she's Brazilian. She's I don't know, 12 years old or something. She's like very young. She's like 18, 20. I don't know. I always forget. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just she made like emojis or like the thing like for in the Twitch chat. So I was like, I need some. And she was like, "Okay, I can do this too, like my background, all that stuff." She said, "Okay, you need a mic, you need a light, all that stuff." So I was like, "Okay, like I'm useless in all this stuff. Like I don't care about any of this shit." So I just said, "Okay, you work for me now." And she does everything now. She edits, she does everything. So yeah,
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um, you okay, so you will so next year you plan to go to Vegas. Like that is like you would like to go and play just the main, or would you like to go out for more of the series? And what's the total amount of time you think you'd go out
Well, I
if you
I
go
have
out
no
there?
idea. I wanna play the main for sure. Like, it's one of those, like, recreational ideas, like, I wanna play the main event once in my life, so that's what I wanna do. And I think, like, this year is a good year, because I'm a champ, so I feel like, why not? Why not this year, Like,
And
I
what
couldn't
about
book
what
them,
about sponsorship? What about ambassador? Like if you got reached out, would you be interested? You stream now, you won the main event, you're obviously very personable, you have a great stream. Like, is that something would that interest you? And if so, what would is there any thoughts on that? Like what would you like it, not like it, open to it?
Well, I was joking about, like, I want $1,000,000, and now I'm not joking anymore. I want $1,000,000. That's it, you know? Like, if somebody wants to give me $1,000,000, I'll tell everybody you are the best site or whatever, but I don't really care. At the moment, I want a lot of money. I'm not I understand, like, even before I won, like, I didn't really get any offers from, the big sites, at least not for long-term deals. I know, like, sometimes it's best to reach out yourself, but I didn't wanna do that because I did feel like my potential was high. Of course, you always gamble a little bit. I could have, like, gotten a deal at the start even, because I started, like, pretty good. I could have gotten a deal there, maybe, the classic deals or something, which are not that good these days. Like, it used to be a lot better. But I was just like, "Nah, nah, I don't need the money at the moment, so, like, I'll just wait." If I go broke, I'll take it, but I just, uh I just gambled on myself, right? And now I'm good, I don't need sponsorship. I don't really care. I'm not like the corporate guy. I don't wanna get people to sign up. I mean, I want people to get passion for poker though. Like, I wanna be an ambassador for poker in general, for sure. I think, like, that is something that I am passionate about. Like, I think, like, it's the greatest game ever made, and it's accessible to everybody. Even when you have no money, you can play, you know, no money, like, you can play free rolls or you can play with your friends or whatever. Uh, yeah, that's what I wanna do. Like, I just wanna be, like, a general ambassador for poker, not necessarily a site. I mean, I'm open to it, but I haven't gotten a $1 million offer yet, so
Right.
just chilling.
It's on the table. Yeah, I understand. You're not opposed to it. It's not something you're
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
not a goal or a dream of
I'm not
yours,
opposed
vegan.
to it, but I don't know if I could do it. I think that's like one of the things that, because I
Right.
know, you know, you can you as a streamer you can still do whatever you want, but you have to tone it down a little bit. And I think like I'm already like so more heightened than other streamers. Like I say crazy shit all the time. So like if they already have to tone it down, like I don't think it's possible for me. Because it would just be a completely different stream, If I can't call people scumbags and all that stuff, it's all a joke, right? Like it's not serious. Like if you
Yeah.
watch my stream, it's not serious, but like, and you can see, like, it's fine, but it's probably not something you want to do as an ambassador for a poker site, or say, oh, this site is fucking rigged, all the time. Like it doesn't, you can't do that anymore. I
Yeah.
don't know if I can stop doing that
Right.
without like losing my thing.
Your authenticity of everything,
Yeah,
and have to
yeah,
worry about what you're saying. I get that. All right, we're gonna rapid fire a bunch of questions because the nice Twitter engagement. People do have some really good ones, so I was saving some of those. But my dad got a couple questions as well. I want to get those, and he always does some notes and stuff. He was asking. My dad's a vegan, and I
oh,
believe that you are. When did
yeah.
you become a vegan? Do you eat to live or live to eat? And is where you live, is it popular? Is that like a common thing in your area?
So I think like 6 years now, I think, something like that. Same thing. My girlfriend, she was like vegan before, then she went back to vegetarian, because of health issues, blah blah blah. It's also, yeah, like you said, like where you are is like we're not in a city, right? So we can't just go to a restaurant and get something to eat. Like there's nothing here basically. I mean, we can get stuff in the store, but you can't like go out to eat anywhere here basically. Like you have vegetarian options, but not a lot of vegan stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like I don't really care too much like about my health at all in that sense. I do it just for the animals, it's an ethical, moral decision I made.
Right.
And I'm very happy with it, and I feel really good. And yeah, why not? You know?
For sure. All right, next question about for my dad. You seem to march to your own drum, meaning do things your own way. How supportive were your parents when you didn't follow the traditional career path and decided to not go to college and like get into poker? What about family and friends? Like, what was it? Was there resistance, or was this easy for you? Just like support all the way.
Well, the thing with me that like made it a lot better, especially for my mom, like to support my poker career, is because if I wasn't gonna be successful, I was probably gonna end up, you know, selling drugs somewhere.
Yeah.
I never really had once I was 16, they kind of knew like, oh, this guy is not gonna become a doctor,
Right.
that was not really in my horizon. So like I think they're quite happy. I mean, they're very supportive now, and they have been for a long time now, like they always worry, of course, because it's not like a stable income, right? Like, and it's not, but they don't really see it as like gambling or anything like that, right? I mean, it's just like, okay, it's not a stable income, but
They,
it's
they,
just
they,
another
they, they're
thing.
not like telling you to do something. Now, obviously, things have changed because
Well, yeah,
like
but
you've
I
had
mean,
there's
the
hard
thing
to
is
argue
like
with anything.
nobody, yeah, nobody can tell me anything, right? That's the problem. Like they know, like I was, you couldn't tell me anything, so they're happy I'm still alive and doing good and happy, So uh,
Basically, you're saying they had no real choice but to
yes,
support you. There was
well,
not
that's the
going to
thing.
be.
Like when the expectations are so low, they just have to support you. When like just lower the expectations, guys. That's how you do it.
I love it. And with your thoughts on money and traditional success, you sort of have a disinterest in those things. We've already touched on this, but when do those views start to take shape and direct your life? Was it before high school? Was there some moment like it just like you said, money's not that much of an importance to you? When did you have you always felt like that since day one, or like that you could,
Um,
or does that change?
no, I think I already had this kind of aversion to like this standard story of like success or personal stuff. Like, I don't really care about any of that stuff. I think now I'm more you know, you know, I'm more well read. I'm more educated than I was before. So like now I have this kind of economic, political understanding of the world where
Yeah.
my view aligns with uh, a certain political thing, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy now. I think like it's always a struggle when you're younger and you have like this kind of, oh, I don't want to I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that, and maybe your interest is more like in arts or, you know, or sports or something like that.
Yeah.
And you don't care about like achieving the highest thing, because like what for, you know, like and for me it's always been like that, and now it's more like I'm more like I understand the world a lot better now. I haven't really changed that much, but
Yeah.
it's more like it's better aimed, you know, it's more specific now.
For sure. And I believe, again, notes from my dad talking about Reddit. It's something about Reddit. If and correct me if I'm mistaken, but you seem to follow or learn or observe on Reddit. Do you feel that Reddit gives a good picture of what is happening in the real world or whatever sites that you visit there? Because my dad, he mentions he follows in Ann Arbor, his favorite football team, you know, the Wolverines, and he gets information that he feels is better than local media coverage or stuff. Am I mistaken, or is there something about Reddit you sort of learn or use that for information?
I
I have
don't
a note
I'm
about
not
that.
really a big Reddit guy, but I do think like for me, like Twitter is a big influence on like things I see in that happen in the world.
Yep.
I think like Twitter is a little bit different because it's mostly who you follow that decides like what you see basically, right? Like so Reddit is more like, oh, you can just scroll and go to, oh, sports, and then you go to your favorite team, and then you can see like people who are also interested in it. So like it's basically like almost like the old school forum style where, you know, you just join a site and then everybody's interested in the same thing. And I think like Reddit, the problem I have with Reddit is that um like people just lie, you know. People just make up
Yep.
stuff, and you know it's not like I don't like the media in general because I think they serve a certain purpose that is against the average citizen, right? Like they don't serve, like they don't try to inform people as best as they can. Like they pretend that that's their goal, but of course it's not. It's just selling ads and getting big donations and stuff like that. So like the 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 perception and the reality are not aligned. And I think with Reddit, it's not like that. Like it's just a random guy saying stuff, and you can decide if it's true or not, right? So
Yeah.
it's more like on yourself. So I would say yeah, for sure. Why not? You know, like, you know, I wouldn't suggest like going to Reddit if, you know, you have some medical condition, you know. I wouldn't do that. But, you
Yeah.
know, for like sports and stuff, or for other interests or art or music, especially like music, like you can just go to part of Reddit where like, oh, you know, oh, this is about this band. And then, oh, they suggest this other band. And then you can expand your music, knowledge like that. You know, I think it's always good to like that's like the good thing about the internet is that you can talk to everybody around the world. Like there's no more barrier uh in that sense.
For
So I
sure.
definitely
I
think
think
it's good.
that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, for topics such as that, they're more
Yeah,
objective and subject, like there's objective versus subjective, right?
yeah,
Certain
yeah,
on Reddit, it's more opinions in sports or music or art. It's just a little more. That's a good way to kind of get some feedback. But yeah, if you're trying to learn about the facts, maybe it's not the that's a
well, yeah, but
it's a
reading the
dangerous place.
newspaper is probably also not the best way to get facts, you know.
Good point. It's a good point. A lot of fake news out there. Well, listen, we have so many questions. We've already been on an hour, and again, I'm sorry for the delay
No,
today.
no,
Where
it's
I've
okay.
been
I have
dealing with
time.
some things, but I do want to answer. You got a lot of fans here, you know, on Twitch too, because sometimes you're going to be playing and miss stuff. You're 20 table and 10
Yeah.
table. So there are some direct questions here. Let's sort of look at. I don't know if you had a chance to kind of make this a little bigger, and we can take some of these. So, excuse me. How many goats do you have? You mentioned earlier. What is it? Three? You said three?
Yeah, treat. Yeah, yeah.
3 goats. Okay. Percentage of the entry into the 2.7 million? This was part of again, obviously personal to, I don't know if you talk about it or not, but did you
I
sell
mentioned
actually
it
where you were?
before. I had 100% of myself, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about staking with like Stake Kings? I know there's the other site as well, Poker Stake, I believe as well. Like, do you find that you ever do that for your people to buy a piece for fun where you put up a sweat, or do you not deal
I
with
put
that?
some sweats up on GG itself, because it's easy,
Right.
you know, like I don't have to do any math, right? I just sell and then it goes automatically. So I like that a lot. I think it's really good.
The only
Yeah,
thing about
I do
that is
it a
where you're
lot.
only people on like,
Yeah, I know.
what if,
Yeah, a lot of
viewers from around the world, they can't do it?
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Americans, you know, they ask like, "Are you gonna sell something?" Sometimes, and I don't know. For live tournaments, I'll probably do it. I'll probably reach out to Stakings or something like that, or Poker Stake.
Yeah. And what smallest entry fee you'll register nowadays?
Now,
Like when you hop on a
well,
tournament?
before I won a 2.7, I still play like $25 tournaments, and now I moved up in the stakes and I play 44. That's the minimum. But yeah, that's
Okay.
still pretty, you know, low,
You
I would
get
say.
down, you get in, you
Yeah,
get full range, full range.
yeah.
Oh, here's a question we started talking about already about GG or WPT Global. If someone wanted to sign you, kind of said $1 million, that's the
$1 million,
ticket
baby. Yeah.
to come with it. That's yeah, 7 figures. Respect. Biggest difficulty of beginning your career. What do you think was the hardest part about poker when you started out?
I think it's actually an ego thing, right? Like, so when, you know, when you're learning the game, like you have this, okay, you can know that you're maybe not as good, but you still have this thing where you still think you're better than you are. So I think like that's the first thing you have to realize is that you're shit. Like when you're, you know, when you're just playing and okay, you get better, you're still shit. Like there's so much to know. Like the game, like you know, at the highest level, right? Like the 10Ks, I think you've been like doing it for a while now. Like the game has changed. Like ICM wise, mostly, in like a year and a half, it's completely changed now, right? Like you see the tiny three bets, right? You see that all the time now. Like that wasn't a thing 2 years ago. It didn't exist. Well, it existed, but not in the extent that it does now. And now it's
Right.
like very balanced and very good. And you didn't see that 2 years ago. And this is at the highest stakes. So like there's so much to learn, you know, there's so much knowledge, and you have to realize that. That's, I think, the hardest thing is like you can only get better piece by piece. You can't, there's no one trick, right? There's no, oh, you start doing this, you solve the game. Like it's not like that, right? You have to work at, you know,
Yeah.
chip away at the thing.
Makes perfect sense. And the failed rip shirt. So that's a moment you win the tournament and you try to rip your shirt off and you couldn't do it. Looking back on it, first of all, what are you going to do with the failed rip shirt? Do you have that? Is that part of your thing? Do you leave that on the side? I mean, that's
I don't know if I tried to rip it because my girlfriend said like it has like stains that don't go away anymore, so she was gonna throw it away anyway. So I was like, okay, let's fucking rip it. It didn't work, so I still have it. I think I'm wearing it now, actually. I'm not too
oh
sure.
yeah, you got the same underneath there.
I think it's
Oh
this
wow.
one, right? Yeah, I think it's this
Yeah.
one. Best of Belgium. Yeah, that's the one.
Very
That's the one.
nice. But do you think you could have got it if you had really gone? Like, I mean, that
No,
was
no. I thought I could rip it, man. I was like, ah, this is just a normal thing. I just rip it. But no. I think like the wrestlers, they do like a little cut, you know.
yeah,
I think
it's a
that's a trick.
well made shirt. Yeah, you might have to snip it exactly for the back,
Yeah.
do something on the back or whatever before it.
Yeah,
We're getting
yeah.
prepared for that.
No, I
We
thought
got
I could do it. Thought I could do it.
yeah, a lot of emotion
Yeah.
there, man. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
Winning
that's
that, and
crazy.
that is exciting. The better chair. Again, we got upgrades. You got a new space heater, but you're just
No.
lucky chair. You're
Lucky
comfortable
chair,
chair. You're just
exactly.
keeping it.
Lucky
Okay.
chair.
What best part of your day? What do you enjoy the most each day, and why?
I would say probably uh either, you know, playing with the dogs outside or uh yeah, but mostly that, just with the dogs or Freddy, the outside cat, like feeding him at the end of the day and putting him inside. It's like that small stuff that always gets me.
Um, and your grind. How do you keep grinding after winning so much? The question here: how do you keep grinding after you hit that score? What's the motivation to just get on there and put in a day's session? Because it is hard. It's sort of like an Olympic athlete. That these like win gold medals, have these big moments, right? It's like for streaming too, it's hard to replicate that type of excitement. Like you're not going to win 2.7 million just because it's not even possible. Like you're stealing on certain days might be 100K or something to win when you're streaming. So how do you find that dopamine, that rush? What motivates you to keep grinding?
I think like I the grind is well, I think it's just natural ups and downs, you know, like you said. Also, you know, when you have a bad run, you just don't want to play that much, you know. But I do love the game, right? So like I don't care what stakes. I don't care what stakes. I don't care what's up top that much, you know. Okay, I'm probably not gonna take it that seriously if it's, you know, 2K up for first, but still, like, I want to win, right? Like I have this thing, you know. I want to win. I want to be the best. I want to prove it to everybody, to myself mostly, that I can win every tournament. And I still have it. I understand, like, at a certain point, it goes away or it becomes like a little bit less, but I still have it. So I don't really care about the money that much, you know. Just want to keep going.
Yeah. For sure. What about so in common with the giraffe, like again, that's just a bar, right? People are asking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
giraffe. There's no, do you like, is giraffes an animal you'd like to have one day on the farm? Like just for
No.
they,
I maybe like adopt like from afar, you know, like adopt like one that's still in Africa, you know, like just
yeah,
support it financially or something like that, maybe. But I don't want to have a zoo, you know, like they're not supposed to be here, the giraffe, so I'll let them be where they are, you know.
makes sense. That's right. The climate's not conducive. That
Yeah.
would not work out. Did you clean your house after that huge win? Yeah. Anything?
I cleaned it one time, yes. But I have to say, every time they say like the rest of the house is spick and span, it's just here. It's just my little space is full of shit. It's terrible. I love it. I'm a fucking animal, you know. But the rest of the house is in perfect condition, you know.
I love it. Pros and cons for live versus online. What do you see for that?
Live is your ROI is a lot higher, right? Because the games are easier. The con about live is that you can never balance out the variance, right? Like you can literally lose in your entire life. Like you can play a tournament every day and you can still not reach like variance free results. Like online it's possible because you can play like 800 tournaments a month online, like reasonable stakes. So, you know, okay, you can have a losing year, but it's hard to be a winning player and lose like 2 years, 3 years in a row. And live, you can lose your entire life, you know. So,
For sure. What do you consider the most important skill in poker?
um, most important skill, I would say. I mean, I don't know actually. Like, I think like these days, you don't have to necessarily be like a a great logical thinker or something like that. Like, you can just be very like good. Like, you can literally study the game now, and if you can do it in game live, like what you know, like so probably execution. I would say execution of a strategy is probably the 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 main skill because I think like a lot of people are very smart, or a lot of people are big ass fucking nerds and they study 12 hours a day running sims, and then when they play, they still suck. You know, it's possible, right? Like
Yeah.
it's it's not just one thing. I would say it's not just one thing.
What,
Especially
what,
tournaments is not for everybody, man. Like the mental
yeah.
strength you need for tournament, like to grind tournaments, is yeah. You have to be like a crazy person, I would say.
What is your superpower though? Like, what's your attributes that you think separate you to make you able to compete at the highest level? Because some people are, exploitatively great. Some people are, yeah, maybe game selection, organization with monitors and study. Like, what is you? What it makes you one of the elite?
I think like I'm definitely not as uh strategically sound as most guys who play like the 10K every week. Especially now, like you can definitely see like people are like, okay, they really put in the work and they play like very well. But I think I have like this thing where I can recognize uh something that I've seen in another spot and correlate that. So like I don't have to learn every sim. I can understand on this board it's going to be like this, and on this board it's going to be like this because of this, right?
Right.
Or stuff like that. So I think like I mentioned before, I'm just a genius, you know, like I don't need like all the information. I can use like the
You have like good pattern recognition. You have good
yeah,
memory. You kind of can
I would say
find
that. I would say that
puzzle
like
solve
yeah. Yeah, I don't need
puzzles
to learn every
and good.
spot. I can also like I coach some guy like for poker I coach some guys, and then for myself I coach like one guy, and like he can ask a question about something, and then I give him the answer, and then by vocalizing, by like actually saying that stuff, I'm realizing like other stuff basically. Like I'm thinking about it while I'm saying it, and then I think about that stuff, and then I can like I don't know, it comes like I just need a little bit of input, and then I can have a lot of output, if that makes sense. Like I don't need to put in
Yeah.
like everything, you know.
Right. Okay. Makes perfect sense. I really like this question here about the sleep. Did you the night before, you're locked up a huge score, you're chip leader playing for 2.7 million, but the difference, you always play all the different scenarios in your head. It could do this,
Yeah.
or I get cool, or I get sixth when I'm this much of a spot. Did you get sleep the night before and also after? How are those 2 nights sleep different?
The night before I slept like 4 hours. So yeah, not a lot. It's always like that, you know, when you have a day
Yeah.
two that's like for big money. Well, I mean now it's maybe a little bit better. Like for the 10K, I don't have a problem anymore. But yeah, like it's just hard to
Yeah.
sleep, you know. You're just thinking about everything. It's just hard to
Yep.
sleep. And then the night after, I was fucking hyped. I can't remember actually. But yeah, I think I slept well, but like not right after. I stayed awake for a long
Right.
time after. But
It's
yeah.
late too. That European time zone. What time does it end? I mean, it's late, right?
Well, day two ended like 5 in the morning or something like that. So,
Wow.
but yeah, there was like an extra day in between, I think. So, or I don't know actually. But yeah, for me, that's my schedule, right? I wake up at noon basically. So I wake up at noon, and then I go to like 3 or 4 at night mostly, and then I go to sleep.
And is this something? Yeah, like who was your parents? I mean, so everyone's sweating it, and your phone must have been going nuts, right? The messages and the things, people like you haven't even talked to in a long time. Like it's just one of those things where you're, how like that is crazy. You have like thousands of messages on different Twitter and this and that, and like what was that feeling like with all the, like you said, it's almost not the money, the glory, but like
Yeah,
that's like the ultimate glory, right? Like you
yeah,
did it,
yeah.
you're at the pinnacle, you set a record, you hit the money, you streamed it. Like no one's gonna ever take that away. These clips, this will resonate for the
Oh,
rest. Like you
exactly.
hit it, you did one of the things that will never
Yeah,
be
I think I
forgotten.
watched like my winning clip like 20 times in a row. Like at some point,
Yeah, of
it's
course,
just it was
of course.
perfect. It was just so perfect, you know. And
Yep.
it makes me feel good, you know. So I like that shit a lot. Yeah, for me, you know, I'm not like I don't care too much what people think of me anyway, but I do.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know, it's more like proving to myself, basically, like, I don't really care what other people think, you know?
yeah.
But yeah, like, I Google myself a bunch of times for sure, like, that's
To
normal, I
see what's
guess.
going on, yeah, what's being said. Hey, listen, for sure, it's
Yeah.
all part of the fun, man.
Yeah, but
It is part of it.
I had, like, offers for, TV in Belgium, like TV, like a t like a night show, like, to the night show and shit like that. They wanted
Yeah.
me, but I said, "No, I don't really care about that stuff."
I love it. Well, listen, I'm honored. I'm honored you're coming on the pod, man. You've done the GG Million stream, so and we've never really gotten to chat. So that's
Oh,
we've
no,
talked a little
yeah.
just on message, but no,
Yeah.
this is I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for making the time today. Yeah, the next, let's see, there's a lot. Look at how many people, man. This was
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah.
We got a lot of questions, a lot of engagement here. Animal, what would you like to have that you don't have yet to the stable of
Yeah,
animals?
cows. I want cows, but I don't think it's gonna happen, soon. Yeah.
Um, okay. Why cow? Why not just like it's just a lot. It's just like a whole nother system of
No, it's just because, like, you can rescue them, you know? Like, after, like, 5, 6 years, they, like, the milk cows, they get kinda discarded, you know? They go
mm,
to slaughterhouse, and they cannot live up to 20 years, so, you know, you can just get them sometimes with a baby, like a little male baby, a little bull, So yeah, I wanna do that, but I don't know. It's a lot of work, and that's the problem. My girlfriend does most of it, so she's the one who says like, nah, I want it, but she does all the work, so she gets to decide.
For sure. Well, and we got a question about if you can't be a giraffe, what animal would you be? We found out it's about a bar, so not an animal. What is like your
Yeah.
favorite or kind of animal you like? Not necessarily on the farm, just like in the like what animals do you think are fascinating or you really like in general?
I don't know. Probably some kind of bird, just fucking flying the whole day. Yeah, that seems like a fun thing.
That does seem nice.
Yeah.
Money away. Didn't you do a giveaway of sorts? Did you give some percentage away of that score? You had a giveaway
Not yet.
opinion?
No, not yet. Like, so I've done that before. Like I've made like a lot of money before, and I never had any money somehow because I gave all my money away. So that happened before. And now like my girlfriend basically, she does all the financial stuff now. So I can't give a well, we're still gonna give away to charity and stuff, but not like before when I just gave everything away. Yeah.
For sure. And I'm here in the Bahamas. I'm playing the main event. It was a 5K. You won a 5K. Similar guarantee, right? A little less
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Online is about double. This will probably overlay. Give me some advice for. I know you're not a live specialist by any means, but it's a great tournament, right? It's a 5K live.
Yeah.
Got to be even way softer than a 5K online. Give me some advice for me and anyone out there watching that might be playing this tournament. What would you say to win, to take down a large entry? Say this will be a 2,500, 3,000 players. Give me some advice to keep your eye from like the start. It seems impossible. What are some advice in a main event you would give to people to play
Well, I think
to
like
focus in?
live specifically, you have to go after the spots a lot, right? Like you have to widen your range a lot against some old American guy or some guy who's like, "Oh, uh hi, how you doing? I sell cars or something like that." You got to take his money. He wants to give you his money, you got to take it. So I think like in the early stages that's definitely a thing, and then if you make it through like to late stages, I would definitely talk to guys who are good at ICM. Like get advice from people who are good at ICM, because I think like that's still the biggest edge, especially live, like where in the 10K, a lot of people are very good at ICM. I think there's like a lot of money to be made there. So if you get that far, definitely. I mean, a lot of people, right? So just get some advice.
I just I see you get to the final table. I've done all the GG million streams. I've seen all the best do their
Yeah, yeah,
tricks and
yeah,
things.
yeah,
If we get there, I feel like it's no matter how many blinds, I'll have the right answer for that. It's hard to get there.
yeah.
No, it's very hard to. There's a lot of stages of the tournament. All right, and biggest attribute or learning you would say that I don't know if attribute's the right word, but biggest takeaway I would say from poker that you feel applies to real life. Like, is it there's a lot of different lessons that poker is able to teach, and you get kind of quickly, right? It comes at you fast. The highs, the lows, the good, the bad. Tell me something that you've taken from poker that you've applied to your everyday sort of thinking and way of living.
Well, I think like a lot of people, they say like the EV approach is like very beneficial in real life. I disagree completely. I think in business it's probably good, right? Like if yeah, go into business, like thinking about long term, thinking about like, one out of 10 times, you're gonna lose or something like that. Like the odds basically, because like when you hear like some people talking like outside of poker, it's like they don't have a concept of like chance at all. Like they don't really get it, like they don't understand like the EV of things. They think it's like either 100% or zero, even though it's like 50-50 or something like that, right? So like I think like in business that's good. I think in real life that's not how you should live your life, in my opinion. Like you should never think about EV. You should just you know go with the flow and see where life takes you. But yeah, I don't know. I think the good thing about poker, I would say, is that actually I think poker is a lot better than real life, in my opinion. Because like I think in poker the uh, bar of entry is like zero. Like anybody can still do it. Like everybody can still do it. Okay, you need time. That's the most important thing. A lot of people don't have time because they already have a job or two jobs that don't pay enough money. But you don't necessarily need money. I think like you can still grind up from zero or close to zero. You just need time. And I think that's wonderful. And I
Yeah.
think that doesn't exist in the real world. You know, like the real world, there's a lot of you know, it depends where you're born, or it depends who your parents are, or all that stuff, right? Like it's
Yeah.
very important in real life. And I think in poker, it's not like that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I agree. And again, I think your sort of philosophy, your outlook, your general demeanor about everything, it's very interesting. It's refreshing, and it was amazing. Like I said, that feat to stream on Twitch and
Yeah.
win that amount of money, that's never going to be really possible, right? The one
Next
of
year,
one.
baby. Next year, I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
You're going to run it back. You're
I'm gonna
claiming it,
run it
run it
back.
back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love it. I really do appreciate the time, and I think we've covered a lot. And those that can want more info, again, we'll just real quick show you the Twitch girafganger7 here on Twitch. You can give him a follow, of course, on Twitter as well. Same tag, and on where you don't do YouTube content, right? You have the
YouTube, but we're still like working on a schedule and stuff like that because
okay.
I mean, yeah. We
And
have a
then
couple videos. Like we have the big one. 5K is like 3-part video. It's very good. Very good. So definitely check that one out.
okay, so you have now girafganger7. You have a YouTube actual channel with some highlights there too. All right, well, we will make sure you follow along on all the different socials. And again, very, very cool, man. Very, very much happy. Congrats, and great to see, and great ambassador for the game in your respected. I love your style. I love the way you do everything, and
Hey,
great to
appreciate it,
chat.
man.
We'll see
I
you in
love you too,
person.
man. I think
And
I think it's great. I think you're a great man. I think you've been around like a long time now in the content world and in the poker in general. And yeah, I think you're great, man.
well, I appreciate it. I know, like I say, you don't really do any podcasts or content, so for you to come on in terms of interviews and such, you're more than just sort of laid back. So again, do appreciate that. And you came on the GG Million, you put your time in, and look at they say the booth magic is a real thing. That was a while ago. We'll have to have you on again in the future if you're ever up for it. Love to have you again on that. And yeah, man, all the best to you. Thank you for the time. And again, this is number 193 on the Flow Show. We got my man girafganger7, Bert Stevens, on the epic historic victory for the World Series of Poker main event on GG. That was big. 2.7 million record field, I believe, but also the $28,609,000 prize pool that he did get the lion's share of. So again, Bert, thank you, man. Cheers. And this is in the books, and we'll be connecting soon. And I will definitely reach out again about the GG Million. I love to have you. But you're at the final table, what, 3 out of 4 out of 5 weeks or something?
Yeah,
so I can't really book you.
Yeah.
I got to have a backup. Like you're like David Gann. I got to be prepared because you may not be available, and then we got to scramble.
We can do like either him or me. We can do that. You can have me or David as a guest.
Well, he's coming up, so yeah, maybe on the 20th, I think, or whatever, the 2 weeks from now. We had to reschedule because of the difficulty, which you were actually at the final table just now again, and then they didn't stream it last second. There was some issue, but definitely, I'll put that down. Listen, if there's ever a conflict or someone in last minute, and I can reach out. That's good to know that you could possibly
sure
do it. So, all right. Well, cheers, man. I'm gonna see you at the World Series next summer, and we will. I owe you a dinner. I can't remember. This is a problem. I end up just treating every dinner because
we did like a charity thing, but like I don't know if I actually sent you the thing, but you had I don't know. I won, right? Yeah, I won. So you owe like something to charity, I think,
and a dinner. I definitely owe you a dinner, and
dinner too. Yeah,
and please let me know. I'd love to give to a good cause. So let me know, and I appreciate it very much, and thank you again. And we'll meet up live and have a good time for sure.
Yeah. See you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, brother.